Hey YouTubers, another adventure with Captain Freddie and come here Joy, little Joy, say goodbye, oh say hello, say hello to the little people, little people, okay, she's gonna go sun herself. She loves laying in the sun. As I was saying in the last video and stuff, I moved on to the boat and was making my way down the Columbia River, which is a very, very, very famous river up in northern Oregon and southern Washington and stuff. And like I said, it was my first experience on a boat on a big river like that with ships and other things. And anyway, so I start down the and didn't know my boat very well either. Anyway, so that was quite the adventure. I mean, I went through, went by some really big ships going up to Portland, Oregon. Now it's 100 miles by road from Portland, Oregon to Astoria. So I don't know what that was in the river because the river winds, so it's quite a bit longer. And anyway, made it all the way back without too many problems. I mean, I had to make a couple of stops, get my bearings, and you know how it is with a new toy or new home. Anyway, so I got back to Astoria and like I say, Warrington, and went to the marina there, and it was $3 a foot per year. So it was $300 a year. Which, folks, you can't get any better than that. Anyway, you had to pay extra for electricity. I can't remember what that ran. This is back in '92 when I was there. And so I anchored up, and this one guy that was living in there, an older gentleman, he came up to me and he showed me the ropes, you know, as far as how to dock a boat correctly, to tie it up and everything, because thank God he did, because the second day I was there, 106-mile-an-hour winds hit the area. It was unbelievable. I woke up about 3 o'clock in the morning and the boat is just rocking away, and I look out the window and oh my God, boats are little finger piers are being broke off, and this gigantic boat that was catty corner for me that a doctor and his wife lived on, it ripped out the electrical box and it was sparking all over the place. So I couldn't get out of the boat and go on the dock, because the dock, I figured I'd get electrocuted. Anyway, so I'm just freaking out, you know. I mean, oh, it was unbelievable. And I was listening to the radio on the news and stuff, and they said Tillamook, Oregon had a wind gust of 183 before it tore off the wind vane. Yikes, oh God. Oh, I couldn't believe it. So anyway, I made it through. Thank God that old gentleman showed me how to put all the anchor lines on and boat docks and everything and stuff. I mean, because I only had 2, and it would have ripped those out, and they were small, and I had to been in dire straits. And luckily my boat was steel, because a lot of the wooden ones got holed by the steel ones and sunk. Anyway, so that was my second day experience on the boat there and stuff. But more fun times were in store later on. So I'm living there, and I would come home from work. Like I said, I worked at KOA, and I would eat off the back of the boat, you know, and watch all the, you know, things goings on and people living there and say hi. And well, there was this mommy duck and her, I think it was like 8 or 10 little ducklings behind her, and they knew which boats that they would get fed from, and I started feeding them, and oh, it was just so cute. And then they go on to the next boat and, you know, get fed by them. Anyway, this duck and her chicks got so tame and everything and stuff that when winter came, I mean, it got cold there in Warrenton, and there was snow and ice on the docks. It was hard to get to work like that. Anyway, so I was on the main walkway on the docks there, and the ducks would come up on there, and I would just open up my little window by the dine-in and feed them. Well, that didn't go over too good with the neighbors, because, you know, there was snow on the docks and the birds were pooping all over the place right there. Oh, nobody said anything, but they gave me dirty looks like, we're gonna kill you. Anyway, so I didn't know what to do. I tried shoo them away, they wouldn't shoo. I mean, they started living there. Anyway, so I actually had to go get a slingshot, and folks, I didn't hit them hard. I just hit them on the butts, and they finally got the message. So that's my duck experience. Now, she didn't hold a grudge, because that summer I had parked in a different spot, and she found me, and the old friendship started up again. I fed her again. Anyway, so how I didn't have a dog at the time. I was between dogs and or cats or whatever. And so I'm driving the big army truck on the beach one day, and out of a piece of driftwood, here comes this little kitten, this little black and white kitten like Sylvester. Oh, it's this itsy teeny weeny little kitten. Comes right out in front of the truck. I stop the truck, and there's a, you know, I have passengers in the back. I mean, I have 8-10 passengers. And so I go get out and pick up the little kitty, bring her in the cab, and everybody's ooh and on, and I put her on my shoulder. And that little kitty stayed right on my shoulder all day long. So I brought her home on the boat. She became a boat kitty cat. I was on this fixation with Bubba. I loved the word Bubba. She was a female, but I would call her Bubette. Anyway, and I always train my cats and dogs with a halter. You know, so I bought her a halter and started out with a halter and the leash, and she got along really well. We'd go on little walks, excursions, and she'd just prancing along. Anyway, so she grew into a nice big kitty cat. And so I came home one night, and she was gone. You know, I went up and down the docks calling her name, and the neighbors going, "What's wrong, Freddie?" And I'm going, "My little kitty ran off, or something happened to it." Anyways, because she never left the boat. She would, you know, sit on the sides and, you know, check things out and stuff and want to attack the ducks, but, you know, other than that, she stayed right on the boat. I mean, you know, I had her for about a year and right on the boat there. Anyway, so, and, you know, a week went by, 2 weeks went by, and, you know, I thought she was gone. I thought either she ran away or somebody got her or something got her. And so I was coming home one night, and it was wintertime and it was dark, you know, about gosh, I can't remember what time it was. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Anyway, so I'm walking towards my boat, and about 4 boats from mine, I hear this meow, you know, and I go over there, and in the back of the boat, here she comes out of the covers and everything, like nothing's wrong. Hey, Dad, what's up? That little scamperwagger, I don't know what she was eating or drinking. I mean, there was no one living on that boat. So anyway, we struck up a friendship again. And anyway, so that's the kitty cat story. And I guess we have time for one more story about working for KOA. This one was, I would always help people out because this was a 6x6 Army truck. Big thing. Big wheels, big everything. And it could go through anything. Oh gosh, it was fun to drive. So I would always help people out because people would get stuck in the sand and whatever and stuff. So one day, I've got a load of people, and I'm driving down the beach, and I noticed these kids in this Suburban, 4 of them, and they were, you know, going down the beach, and you know, and they were driving through the puddles, which you don't want to do because salt water is like acid on your car. You just never get it washed off all completely. Anyway, so I went all the way down this beach, you know, probably 5 miles, and then started my way back, and here, they were in a real big hole. They'd gotten stuck, and there was a big sandbar right on the back of their vehicle and stuff that I could put the Army truck and hook up and to pull them out. So I get them hooked up and start pulling. It starts to pull, and then this big wave, oh my God, this huge wave came up, and it was like quicksand. It just sucked the sand right from the bottom of my truck and buried it down to both axles. Just buried it. Wasn't going anywhere. So, you know, I got out, went around the back, and I said, folks, because after the wave left, there was still that sandbar there. I said, folks, you're going to have to get out and go up on the beach there and stuff. And I called the KOA, and they're going to come out and pick you up and bring you back. And you know what? A lot of them stayed because they wanted to see what was going to happen. So anyway, it took a while to get the wreckers because wreckers were real busy around that area and stuff. So they were going to get a real big semi wrecker, you know, one of the huge ones. But that wasn't available. So they got 2 of the smaller ones, but still pretty good size, and put them on the beach, you know, on the other side of this pool. And 4x4s anchored them because it was going to take quite a pulling. So by the time they got all this hooked up and everything and stuff, they had to go through, the tide had come in, and I kept the truck running, and it had one of those exhaust systems that, you know, it could get all the way up past the motor and stuff, and it would still be running. So I stayed in the cab. I wasn't going down with my ship. Or I was going down with my ship, I should say. Anyway, so both wreckers came out there and hooked me up with their hooks. And the wrecker guy goes, well, as soon as we start pulling, you gun that thing. And all they had to do was just get me a little bit of, you know, out of that, and bam, I was gone. I out of there and went around, and by that time the whole beach above the low tide level thing was filled with people, and the state police was there, and oh God, it was just unbelievable. My boss was there, and you know, afterwards he sat me down and he goes, well, I don't think we're gonna do that anymore, are we? He didn't fire me, at least. You know, I mean, most bosses probably would have. But he just said, I don't think we're going to do that anymore. So anyway, folks, that's my story of the KOA and Fort Stevens there. That's another interesting story I'll go into next time after I get these uploaded and, you know, all that kind of good stuff. Remember, subscribe and comment. Thank you.